DMV Link's red dress is not a moment, it's a movement. And movements demand action. I'm Lisa Blunt Rochester, and tonight I show up not only as a US Senator, but as a woman, a daughter, a sister, and a proud member of the Links Incorporated Wilmington, Delaware chapter. I also show up as someone who has made it her life's mission to champion women's health at every stage of life, including perimenopause and menopause. Tonight's theme is Ladies First, and this is not a slogan, it's a call to action. It means women's health comes first, especially heart health, because the conditions and the connections between heart disease, perimenopause, menopause, and maternal health are real. They are urgent, and for far too long, they have been ignored. Heart disease remains the leading cause of death for women, yet millions are navigating these life stages without enough research, information, or support. These are not separate issues. They are deeply connected. That's why this conversation matters. That's why this movement matters. For 18 years, the DMV Links red dress has led with purpose, educating, advocating, and saving lives. What began here in the DMV is now a global movement driven by women who refuse to be silent about their health. Tonight, you'll hear from powerful voices, leading medical and health experts, and an extraordinary panel. This is how change happens when women lead together. Ladies first. Now let's get to work.
Focus. Power.
Strength.
Control. Priority. Lifestyles.
Flourish.
Empower. Choice. Shine. Thrive. Wellness. ignite, transform. Ladies first.
Wow, what a way to kick things off. You just heard from a true history maker, Lisa Blunt Rochester, Delaware's first female United States Senator and the first Black senator in that state's history. And then you saw our own incredible Red Dress DMV Links chapter presidents take the screen with one clear message: ladies first. Good evening and welcome, everyone. This is the 18th annual DMV Links Red Dress on National Wear Red Day. I'm your host, Jumiola Banji. Yes, I am back to host again, and it is truly an honor to be with you for this powerful evening. Whether you're watching us live on Facebook or on YouTube, what matters most is this: you're here. And while I'm currently on assignment abroad covering the Winter Olympics in Italy, there was no way I was going to miss lending my voice to a night that puts women's heart health and women first. Tonight is made possible by 15 amazing chapters of the Links Incorporated across Washington, D.C., Maryland, and Northern Virginia, known as the DMV, linked in friendship and connected in service. And if the message hasn't already landed tonight, it's always ladies first around here. Allow me a point of personal pride as well. I'm a proud member of the Reston, Virginia chapter of the Links Incorporated, one of the chapters that continues to show up and host Red Dress year after year. Serving as your Red Dress MC has been a true honor, and I'm grateful to stand with you in support of this life-saving mission once again. As a new mother and a career woman, this year's theme of Ladies First is personal for me because, like so many women, so many of you, I spend my days putting others first: my child, my family, my career, and the people who depend on me. And that's why this conversation matters, because at every stage of a woman's life, our heart health is being impacted, often without us realizing it. From pregnancy to perimenopause and into menopause, these are not just life milestones, they are critical moments that can affect your blood pressure, cholesterol, stress, and long-term heart health. You know, too often, these warning signs are missed or dismissed, especially for Black women. And when we're busy taking care of everyone else, it's easy to ignore our own bodies. That's why today, on National Wear Red Day, we are here, not just to wear red, but also to go red, to save lives, and to raise awareness about the #1 killer of Black women. That is heart disease and stroke. Now, we are coming to you because our hearts matter, with powerful stories, trusted voices, and expert insight to help us ask better questions and take action for our own heart health at every stage of life. Because heart health, it's not just medical, it's personal. It's about the pace women keep, the pressure we carry, and the responsibility to lead, provide, and care for others while still making space for our own well-being. Now, to continue the conversation, here is another powerful voice that understands what it truly means to put ladies first. She has spent more than 2 decades shaping platforms that elevate women's voices and influence culture. From serving as former CEO of Ebony and Jet to her role as Chief Content Officer of Essence, to creating the first and only network for Black women, BET Her, she has consistently been at the forefront of transformative media leadership. And today, she is leading one of the most talked about and buzzworthy media ventures in the industry. Please join me in welcoming the board chair of the HBCU Honors Foundation and now president and equity owner of Players TV, Michelle G.
Thank you to the DMV chapters of the Links Incorporated and to the Red Dress Chairwoman, Michelle Bailey, my sister, for your leadership and for creating space that truly centers women. For more than 2 decades, my work has been all about building platforms that elevate women's voices and shape culture. From Essence to Ebony to creating and launching the very first network for Black women, BET Her, and now as president of Players TV. I've seen firsthand what happens when women are not treated as an afterthought, but as a priority. That's why the theme Ladies First resonates so deeply with me. Putting women first isn't the side conversation, it is the main act. It's about who is centered, whose needs are addressed, and whose lives are taken seriously. And that absolutely includes women's health, heart health, mental health, maternal health, menopause. These are not secondary issues. They are foundational to women's ability to lead, to care for their families, to run corporations, even getting presidents elected. What makes tonight powerful is the intersection of visibility, expertise, and community. When women are informed and supported, outcomes change. I'm proud to stand with the Links in advancing this work and grateful to be part of a program that continues to lead with intention and impact. And I'll leave you with this. What's ahead tonight matters. These conversations every woman should hear and information every woman should have. So I hope you'll stay. I hope you lean in. But most of all, and most importantly, I pray that you take action for yourself and for your sisters. Be blessed.
Oh my goodness, Michelle, thank you so much. You got all of us so fired up. Powerful words and such an important reminder of why putting ladies first truly matters. Now, you already know there are a lot of great prizes and giveaways coming your way throughout the night. Many of these products and services are made possible through the generosity and support of members all across the DMV Links chapters. My Link sisters, thank you for your continued service and commitment to this life-saving work. Everyone, now do us a favor. Go ahead and like, share, and maybe even start a virtual watch party with your friends and family. You can use our hashtags tonight. They are hashtag DMV Links Red Dress, hashtag Heart Links, hashtag Go Red, and hashtag Ladies First. Now, this event is truly life-saving. I've said it before. Year after year, we receive messages, emails, DMs from women and families who tell us about how this conversation has helped them recognize the signs, ask the important questions, and take action. The DMV Links Red Dress event has touched countless lives across not just the DMV, but really around the world. And this is exactly the kind of moment that deserves to go viral. So let's go ahead and spread that message. Let's save lives. Let's make it happen. And now it's time to shout out some firsts and give away some prizes. Are you ready? Okay, I'm going to have my control room talk in my ear. Who do we have first? Okay, congrats to LaWanda Dates from Maryland. We also have Teresa Gonzalez from Washington, D.C., and Mallory Gregory from Georgia. You were all first to say yes to Red Dress this year. Congratulations to you. We want to hear from you in the chat right now. As the first 3 people to register for Red Dress this year, you will each receive a $25 gift card and a copy of We Do Not Care Club. It's a handbook by Melanie Sanders. You might know her as a mega influencer. She has over 7 million followers. She's also the creator of the We Do Not Care Club. It's a women's movement. So congratulations to all of you. Please go to the live chat for instructions on how to redeem these great prizes. And there are more great prizes to come tonight. So keep it locked right here. You could be the winner of a VIP experience at the Sherry Shepherd Show. Also, we have Commanders tickets, a Las Vegas resort package, and NAACP Image-nominated HBCU honors taping tickets, and much more. So stay tuned. Now, please join me in extending a heart-healthy welcome to leaders from the Arlington, Virginia chapter of the Links, our chair chapter for Red Dress every year. First, please welcome Tamika Tunsil, the chapter president, and then in just a moment, she'll introduce the other DMV Links Red Dress host chapter presidents. And then you'll hear from Michelle Bailey. She is the Red Dress event chairwoman. She works so hard every year, and she has led this life-saving event with vision, purpose, and heart now for the 8th year in a row. She'll be accompanied by Laverne Chapman, the event co-chair, and one of the original Red Dress leaders who helped write the grant 18 years ago that launched this powerful movement. Please show them some love in the chat right now for our amazing chapter presidents and Red Dress leaders, the women who continue to lead this life-saving work across the DMV and beyond. Go ahead, let's hear it for them.
Thank you, Jumi, and welcome back. We're thrilled to have you with us this evening, even as you are covering the Winter Olympics in Italy. Good evening, everyone. I'm Tamika Tunsil, president of the Arlington, Virginia chapter of the Links Incorporated. And it is my pleasure to welcome you to the 18th annual DMV Links Red Dress event. On behalf of the 15 DMV host chapters of the Links Incorporated, thank you for joining us for this powerful evening. Tonight's theme is Ladies First, a reminder that prioritizing our health, our voices, and our well-being is truly what matters. We extend our sincere appreciation to our program participants, sponsors, national partners, patrons, and small business supporters whose commitment continues to make Red Dress possible. The Arlington, Virginia chapter is proud to collaborate with our sister chapters across the Washington, D.C., Maryland, and Northern Virginia communities. It is my pleasure to recognize the presidents of our participating chapters. Nicole Venable, Cherry Blossom, D.C. chapter. Michelle Bernard Esquire, Capital City, D.C. chapter. Diana Smith Coleman, Columbia, Maryland chapter. Wanda G. Taylor, Greater Rappahannock, Virginia chapter. Katrina Saunders Smith, Loudoun County, Virginia chapter. Kimberly McClurkin Harris, Metropolitan, D.C. chapter. Rosalind Daniel Walker, Mount Rose, Maryland chapter. Allison Blow, Old Dominion, Virginia chapter. Dr. Cheryl Simmons Gray, Patuxent River, Maryland chapter. Andrea Edmonds, Potomac, Virginia chapter. Shani Hostin, Reston, Virginia chapter. Yamina Leggett Wells, Silver Spring, Maryland chapter. Dr. Teresa Jackson, Southern Maryland Chain, Maryland chapter. Cheryl Tier Esquire, Washington, D.C. chapter. Thank you, Madam Presidents, for your leadership, your partnership, and your commitment to service. And now it is my distinguished pleasure to introduce two leaders whose dedication continues to move Red Dress forward. Please join me in welcoming our event chair, who has successfully led Red Dress for 8 consecutive years, Michelle M. Bailey, along with this year's event co-chair, Laverne Chapman, who was part of the team that wrote the grant launching the Red Dress program 18 years ago. Ladies.
Thank you, Tamika. Tonight is about ladies first, putting our health, our voices, and our lives at the center of conversation. For 18 years, DMV Links Red Dress has shown what happens when women lead with intention, advocate for one another, and choose to put themselves first. I want to take a personal pause right here to say thank you, Laverne. 18 years ago, you helped to write the grant that launched Red Dress. This moment and this movement exists because of that vision.
Thank you, Michelle, and thank you to every woman who continues to show up for this work. Red Dress is powerful because it's rooted in community, women learning, leading, and lifting one another up.
We extend our sincere thanks to our 15 DMV Links host chapters, whose leadership across Washington, D.C., Maryland, and Northern Virginia makes this program possible year after year. We also thank the Red Dress Planning Committee for dedication, the care, and the countless hours poured into tonight's program.
A special thank you to our production team at ETAT Productions for bringing this program to life and helping us share this message with audiences near and far. We're also honored to be joined by our Eastern Area Director, Dr. Lisa Lowry Lomas of Columbia, Maryland chapter, one of tonight's host chapters, whose leadership strengthened this work and this movement. You do not want to miss hearing from her later this evening.
That's right. We are grateful to all of our program participants, our speakers, experts, and panelists who have shared their time and their expertise in service of women's health.
And we want to offer a special thank you to Dr. Reginald Robinson, a leading cardiologist and our DMV Links resident cardiologist. He joins us each year, and he's backed by popular demand. That's truly an understatement. But Dr. Robinson continues to impart invaluable wisdom and has empowered so many to make real lasting lifestyle changes for heart health. We also extend our deepest appreciation to our sponsors, whose generous support fuels this life-saving mission and allows us to reach women across the DMV and beyond. And thank you as well to our host, Jumi, and our panel moderator, Simone, for guiding this conversation, important and timely work.
Yes, and finally, we want to thank you, our audience, for showing up and choosing to put yourself first. We welcome our first-time guests, and we are so glad that you are here. And to those who return year after year, thank you for continuing to stand with us. The conversations happening tonight are the ones so many of us need. Perimenopause, menopause, and maternal health affect countless women, often without enough information or support. Understanding how these life stages connect to the leading killers among women, heart disease and stroke, is critical. That is why tonight matters.
So lean in, take notes, and stay with us. We have powerful information, meaningful conversation, and some great prizes still to come.
You are right. With that, back to you, Jumi.
Okay, I see the chat is busy. I love to see that. I want to extend a special welcome to all of our first-time Red Dress event guests tonight. I guarantee this will not be your last year joining us. Let's give a ladies first heartwarming welcome to the following first-time Red Dress event guests. Hello to Felicia Wright from Delaware, Darla Sly from Virginia, and LaGloria Warwick from Maryland. Welcome. We're so fortunate to have you with us this evening, and we're also fortunate to have so many talented Links members who continue to give back in meaningful ways. This next gift package is courtesy of celebrity chef Cynthia Anderson of the Patuxent River, Maryland Links chapter, a consistent and generous supporter of Red Dress year after year. So tonight, you first three-time attendees for Red Dress, you're going to receive a signed copy of Chef Cynthia's book, The Art of Healthy Cooking, A Journey to a Healthier You, along with her Heart Healthy Chef Cynthia seasonings. And everyone loves a good seasoning when they're cooking, right? All right, now it's my pleasure to welcome to our virtual stage a leading mental health expert and dynamic leader, our very own Dr. Lisa Lowry Lomas. She's the Eastern Area Director of the Links Incorporated. She's a proud member of the Columbia, Maryland Links chapter, also a host chapter of this evening's affair. Good evening, Dr. Lowry Lomas. Thank you for being with us.
Good evening. It brings me great pleasure to bring greetings on behalf of 84 chapters and over 5,000 members of the Eastern area of the Links Incorporated as we celebrate the 18th DMV Red Dress Links Day. This year's theme, Ladies First, is not a slogan. It's a mandate. As a mental health professional, I've spent my career watching women be conditioned to put others before themselves, their families, their friends, career, everyone's needs before theirs. Their mental and emotional and physical health are last. Well, tonight, we're going to change that narrative. Putting yourself first means recognizing that you matter. Your heart health, your mental and emotional health, financial health, hormonal health, and your overall well-being, they matter. It means creating time and space for preventative care, knowing your numbers, asking questions, advocating for yourself, and being present enough in your life where you recognize when something's a little off in your body, something doesn't feel right, and taking those cues seriously and acting upon them. It also means encouraging other women to do the same. Often when we put ourselves first, we're called selfish. Well, selfish has a bad rap. It has this negative connotation, and it's a positive. Selfish means to put yourself first. And what is wrong with that? It's a necessity. It's a requirement. I mean, quite frankly, it is a step in leadership because we model behavior for our sisters, our friends, our colleagues, our community. I commend our 15 DMV Red Dress chapter sponsors, of which my chapter is one, the Columbia, Maryland chapter. I also commend our lead chapter, Arlington, Virginia chapter, for their commitment to ensuring longer, healthier lives for women and families across our region. I want to acknowledge the leadership behind this powerful moment. Event Chair Michelle M. Bailey and Event Co-Chair Laverne Chapman. Your vision, dedication, and years of service have created a legacy of impact that continues to educate, empower, and uplift our communities. I also want to extend my sincere appreciation to the Red Dress Planning Committee, whose dedication, countless hours, and behind-the-scenes leadership make this impactful program possible year after year after year. When we put ourselves first, we create healthier homes, stronger communities, and brighter futures for the next generation. Tonight, let us recommit together to doing just that. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Eastern Area Director, Dr. Lisa Lowry Lomas, for your powerful and inspiring words. Also, a warm welcome to all of our distinguished guests joining us tonight from near and far. We have CEOs, college presidents, public officials, community leaders, so many others watching from the virtual audience around the DMV and across the country. Red Dress has always been a positive and diverse all-star affair, bringing people from every sector together with one shared purpose. It's to save lives and to change lives for the better on National Wear Red Day. This is how the DMV links go red. All right, so how is everyone tonight? I see a lot of dialogue in the chat. That also means you're enjoying this great program. So stay with us, share, like the page, and take great notes. Okay, so is anyone in need of a staycation? Well, make sure you keep it locked right here. Coming up is your chance to win a resort stay in Las Vegas. Talk about putting ladies first. It sounds like the perfect girls getaway, if you ask me. And as Red Dress Chairwoman Michelle Bailey mentioned earlier, at the heart of what we do is being rooted in the community, as Links members are connected in friendship and service. So thank you again to our very generous sponsors and our DMV Links host chapters who make monetary donations every year to nonprofit organizations. Since the inception of the Red Dress program, the DMV Links had donated nearly $100,000 to local nonprofits. Some of our impact-driven organizations include DC's Dress for Success, Emory Beacon of Light, Bright Beginnings, Maryland's Open My Heart Foundation, Bowie State University's College of Nursing, and Virginia's Action in Community Through Service, Doorways, and so much more. Now, tonight for the 6th year, the DMV Links Red Dress continues that commitment, making history by awarding monetary donations to 3 nonprofit organizations who are making a meaningful difference in our community. Let's take a look at our 2026 recipients on the screen and be sure to visit our e-program book to learn more about the important work that they do. Don't go away. You do not want to miss our next special guest and the chance to win VIP tickets to the Sherry Shepherd Show, along with HBCU Honors Award Show tickets, Commanders tickets, and much more. So keep it right here. All right. Now, you know about Hanging with Mr. Cooper. Used to love that show. But tonight we're going to be hanging with Dr. Cooper. That's Dr. William Cooper. Dr. Cooper is the medical director of cardiovascular surgery at Reston Hospital Center, leading a new advanced heart surgery program that is bringing life-saving care closer to home for thousands of patients in Northern Virginia. He is a nationally recognized cardiothoracic surgeon and a decorated U.S. Army veteran who has built high-performing heart surgery programs all across the country. He also continues to set new standards for excellence in discipline as well as patient-centered care. Dr. Cooper's award-winning work reminds us that heart health is not just medicine. It's about community access and being ready when it matters most. Please join me in welcoming Dr. William A. Cooper.
Thank you, Jumi, and good evening. It's an honor to be here for Red Dress in this important conversation. I'm Dr. William Cooper, a cardiothoracic surgeon and medical director of cardiovascular surgery at Reston Hospital Center in Reston, Virginia. Every day, I see the consequences of heart disease, often when it's been diagnosed too late. Heart disease is the #1 cause of death for women, yet women's symptoms are frequently misunderstood or dismissed. Many women don't experience classic chest pain. Instead, symptoms may include fatigue, shortness of breath, nausea, jaw, or back pain. For Black women, the risk is even higher, with greater rates of high blood pressure and delayed diagnosis leading to more severe outcomes. That's why this year's theme, Ladies First, matters. It means listening to your body, trusting what you feel, and advocating for your health. Know your numbers. Seek care early. Prevention and early action saves lives. Thank you for being here and for prioritizing women's heart health.
Thank you so much, Dr. Cooper. That's just the kind of information and insight, also inspiration that we all need to hear. Okay, now give me a virtual drum roll, please. Thank you very much. We've got another winner, Kimberly O'Shields of Washington, D.C. Congratulations to you. Get ready for a 1-week resort stay in Las Vegas. This package is courtesy of Princess Faison of the Prince George's Maryland chapter of the Links Incorporated. This is a donation she makes every single year. She's so generous. So thank you, Princess. Now, as we get ready to move into our much anticipated panel, I want to say how glad I am that you are here and you're tuned in for this next important conversation. Now, I have to get back to covering the Olympic opening ceremony in Milan, but I know you all will continue with this heart-healthy party tonight. And I already know that with MS Now's own Simone Sanders Townsend, along with our incredible expert panelists, this is about to be a powerful conversation that you do not want to miss. You'll have the opportunity to ask questions, and yes, there are still plenty of amazing prizes ahead, including those Sherry Shepherd VIP tickets, Commanders tickets, golf experiences, designer handbags, and so much more. I'm so jealous. So keep it locked right here. And don't forget to comment, like, and share using our hashtags, hashtag DMV Links Red Dress, hashtag Heart Links, hashtag Go Red, and hashtag Ladies First. Take it away, Simone.
All right now, Jumi. Make sure you're staying warm out there in Milan, because I know she's jealous of the prizes, but Jumi is in Milan right now. Before I say anything else, let's give a huge virtual round of applause to our MC and host for holding us down tonight and just guiding us through this conversation already so beautifully. All right, shout out to Jumi. And can we also give it up for all the incredible speakers that we heard from who have already shared tonight? The information has been rich. I've got my papers ready for my notes, as y'all know how I do it every year. It's been powerful and the love has been real. Also, can we talk about the red dress energy? You know, I just pulled a Facebook page. I know y'all are in the chat. I am seeing the people in the chats. The speakers have been giving, right? And the information is on point. And I know y'all are tuned in. And the prizes, now I do believe the prizes are prizing, as the young people would say. I'm wondering how I get in on one of these prizes. I don't know if I bought all the tickets I should have bought or anything, but they are great. And I hope you're ready and you're going to stick around, because the grand prizes, they are coming up during this segment. You don't want to go anywhere. Stay right here with me, because Jumi teased it, and I have to tell you, they are excellent. And of course, before we go any further, I want to acknowledge our Links leadership who is here tonight, our Eastern Area Director. You already heard from her. Senator Lisa Blunt Rochester is also here, and all 15 host chapter presidents. Thank you all for being in the room and on the Zoom. Okay, ladies, this year's theme is, in fact, Ladies First, right? And that means tonight we are having a real conversation about women's health. We are talking perimenopause. We're talking menopause. We're talking maternal health. And we're talking about how it all connects to our heart health. And, you know, I'm a young millennial, and I was talking with a cousin of mine the other day, and she said, are you in menopause? I said, girl, I'm too young for that. She said, see, you don't understand. Some folks can start as early as 30. So tap in, okay, to the young peeps on the Zoom. This affects us as well. This is not going to be a surface level conversation. This is the stuff many of us were never taught. I just told you all a recent conversation I had with a family member of mine. These are going to be the things that maybe no one ever warned us about, and some things that we didn't even believe. You already know what I'm going to say. Grab your notebook. Again, I've got my notes. Okay, I got my pen. I am ready. You are going to want to write some of this stuff down. I guess I should introduce myself, right? For those of you that don't know me, greetings, everyone. My name is Simone Sanders Townsend. I literally just stepped off the set from the weeknight on MS Now, formerly MSNBC. Still on set, actually, because I'm literally like not even in my regular office, but I could not miss Red Dress. I am a proud member of the Cherry Blossom DC chapter of the Links Incorporated. And when it comes to women's health, community, and sisterhood, this is very, very, very personal to me. It's why I commit to Red Dress every year. I think this panel matters. I think this moment matters. I think you out there matter. And with all the crazy things happening in the world, we cannot forget about our health, our mental health, as well as our physical health. So tap in, folks, lock in. We got to get to this. Now let me introduce this incredible panel we've got with us tonight. Trust me, their bios are as impressive as this conversation is about to be. You can check them all out. Did you get your Red Dress e-program book? Okay. Get the book. The link is in the chat, folks. I'm going to bring up our resident heart expert, who is back by popular demand. I literally was just telling Michael Steele that I cannot wait to hear from Dr. Reginald Robinson tonight, because he tells me everything I need to know. He's a cardiologist who brings clarity and insight every single year. And again, I'm going to say it every year, Dr. Reggie, at this point, sir, you need your own podcast so people will listen. I'm going to continue to put it out there. Next up is an OBGYN, a link, one of my favorite people. That's my friend. Hey, girl, hey. A proud member of the Metropolitan DC chapter of the Links Incorporated, one of our host chapters this evening. Please welcome Dr. Lynn Lightfoot of the Washington Wellness Group. Yes. Joining us as well and bringing a holistic perspective to this conversation is Dr. Andrea Sullivan. She's a sociologist, naturopathic doctor. Yes, we're going to get into what that means. An author, and she's going to help us understand how our bodies speak to us if we just slow down and listen. I probably really need to tap into that conversation. And finally, if you are on social media, you already know her, okay? We love her. Heart disease survivor, truth teller, and powerful health advocate, Dr. Shanta Q. Yes, okay, panelists. We are very excited you all are here, and especially Dr. Shanta Q, you're going to share the story that changed and also saved your life. It's going to be amazing. All right. Are you guys ready? Okay, well, before we jump into these questions, Madam Chair Michelle told me very, very clearly, she actually underscored it a couple times, that before we started, I have to give away grand prize number 1. Drum roll, please. Virtual drum roll. Who is it? Denisha Chisholm, okay? She asked a very powerful question when she RSVP'd. Congratulations to our first grand prize winner. I just have to detail what is in this package. A Michael Kors jacket, okay? A hydrofacial and facial kits from Dr. Yolanda Holmes Dermatology. Dr. Yolanda is amazing. I have seen her myself. A Visa gift card, a women's spa self-care kit, and Dr. Sullivan's book, The Sacrifices of Superwomen, Natural Remedies to Restore Balance. Congratulations. Do not worry, folks. We are just getting started out there, all right? Don't fear, don't fret, don't go anywhere. Panel, are you all ready?
Yes, you're ready.
Y'all are ready. Okay, well, let's get...
How can we not be with you there?
Well, you know, folks, it is Black History Month, okay? It's also Heart Health Month. And I think what I love about this conversation and the giveaways is that the giveaways are coming straight from the Links members and our DMV small business community. So shout out to them. You can look them all up in our e-program book. We've got business listings, business ads. We want to support our community, especially the businesses that support you all. Okay, Dr. Reggie, I'm going to kick it off with you because as I told you, I was having this conversation with my cousin-in-law just last week. And it dawned on me that many women don't actually realize that perimenopause and menopause, one, can affect younger women, and two, it can directly affect heart health. So what changes should women be paying attention to and not just brushing off?
Well, first, thank you guys for having me again. And I look forward to this. And we get all of these degrees and keep them to ourselves. And it's a part of our responsibility to actually give it to our folks. I wanted to talk about Black History Month first. We know that when we take the oath of Hippocrates, they talk about Asclepius. And Asclepius is actually Imhotep, who's an Egyptian, who's the father of medicine, actually. Most people don't know that. And we talk about ladies first. I wanted to show this book by Rebecca Lee Crumpler. She's the first African-American physician back in the 1800s during the Civil War. And she was probably ahead of her time talking about social determinants of health and maternal fetal health and how to really get into the communities to help our folks. And so she was well ahead of her time. And the book is still in publication, a book of medical discourses in 2 parts by Rebecca Lee Crumpler. If you a history buff and want to go look that up. So when we talk about maternal or menopause, you have a great expert coming up, my friend, Dr. Lightfoot, will explain a little more, but menopause, as we get to that point where your estrogen levels drop. And in the past, maybe like 20 years ago, we knew that when estrogen levels drop, we had more risk of high blood pressure, heart attacks, strokes, and then we were supplementing estrogen. And then somewhere along the line, it started to find out that supplementing some of the estrogen levels could actually increase risk in the wrong people of clots and heart attacks. So menopause and perimenopause is a state that we have to take seriously.
Absolutely. I mean, this is not a game to play with. Dr. Lightfoot, your name was invoked. I think it's time we must come to you on this. Weigh in on the perimenopause here, because I do think that women often feel dismissed when they talk about symptoms during menopause or perimenopause. So what should women know about what's normal and frankly what's not normal?
Well, thank you for having me. It's so exciting to see all of you here, especially to be able to be next to the infamous Dr. Reggie Robinson. And welcomed by you. And thank you, Simone. I think it's really important first for us to just understand some basic education, right? Perimenopause is the transition after we stop getting our periods regularly into when we no longer have regular menstrual cycles, right? That's the perimenopause transition. And then menopause follows after that. So this is something that all women are going to experience. It's not going to get away from you. And I'd like to tell all the women who are here with us this evening, you're not imagining it. It's not happening. And it's not the stress that you experienced at work. It's not just hot in the room. It's not your last week or last year, your coworker didn't make you angry, and this year they make you angry every 5 minutes. It's not something that it's not happening to you. It is happening to you, and it's exactly what it is. Vasomotor symptoms, VASOMOTOR. I'm sure it's come up on all of your Instagram feeds at some point. Vasomotor symptoms are hot flashes, night sweats, and those symptoms occur when as Reggie described, your estrogen levels start to get low and you have hot flashes. Some people's hot flashes are much worse than others. Some people may have hot flashes for a short period of time, and some people may have them for several years. So that's not unexpected. It's real and it's happening. Sleep disruption, mood swings, decreased libido, inability to enjoy sex or have an orgasm. And yes, that's a real conversation. brain fog, memory changes. These are real things that are happening. And we often we may dismiss them because we don't think that it's impacting going to work and taking care of our family, because we're doing so many different things and we take care of an entire community. And so as long as it's not preventing us from doing our normal job, then it doesn't bother us. But if you really sit down and ask the question, we are experiencing these things regularly. Now, what's abnormal is chest pain, chest pressure, shortness of breath, dizziness, weakness, paralysis, weakness on one side versus another. Those aren't normal symptoms that people will experience during menopause. We experience joint pain? Yes. We experience inability to move a limb? No. So those are some of the differences. But the most important thing to know is you need to have a care provider who's going to ask you the questions and elicit these symptoms so that you can get the care that you need.
I have some. I've already written some questions down for later in our conversation. But before we jump there, Dr. Sullivan, let me come to you, because first of all, I want you to talk to us about the natural situation going on here and just how it all dovetails together. I'm talking about nutrition. I'm talking about sleep. I'm talking about stress management. How are all of those things connected, and how do they support or maybe take away from what is happening as women go through these hormonal changes?
Well, thank you. I'm so grateful to be here. I want to echo. I'm excited and grateful. I first of all say I'm not MD, as the banners begin. I'm an MD. And that's
yes. Now I will just say, Dr. Sullivan, the people in the chat on Facebook, especially, they say you are the stuff, and you know what you're talking about. So you have some fans in the chat.
Okay. Well, thank you, fans. I appreciate that. So a naturopathic doctor is one who works with natural substances. So throw me nature, pathos and suffering. So we're treating the condition with something that's natural. That can be herbs, that can be food, that can be acupuncture, that can be homeopathy, that can be cranial sacral. I got booted out.
Oh, you're still in.
Okay. I was going to say, anyway, and so any of those things are what you can focus on in naturopathic medicine. I want to be clear that we have a 4-year program in several schools, just like allopathic doctors do. And we have our treatments, and we have to know their treatments as well. So we have pharmacology, we have anatomy and physiology and biochemistry and immunology and genetics and pathology. We have all of that in addition to what it is that we have to know in terms of herbal medicine or homeopathy or acupuncture. That program comes after 4 years of undergraduate school. Many times we do have a residency. I was fortunate enough to get a residency, and some of us cannot, but I was fortunate enough to get one with an osteopath. So our education is very broad and very, very intense, very intense. And naturopathy is all about what it is that you are doing for yourself as well, because it's about prevention, not just cure. I always say to my patients, you cannot drop your body off and like a car and pick it up at 5 o'clock. That's not what we do. You have to get involved in your care. You have to be a responsible person getting involved in what it is that you want to create, which is wellness. So I want to say also that menopause is not a disease, it's a stage of life. And all of the diseases that we've mentioned so far are not exotic long-term diseases from Pago. Many of them are lifestyle diseases. Many of them are lifestyle diseases. I want to repeat that, because if you are not taking care of yourself very early on, these symptoms will be worse for sure. So we talk about education. Naturopaths educate. Naturopaths are concerned about prevention. Primary prevention is doing what you need to do at home before you get to the doctor and nothing's showing up. We want you to take your pap smears. We want you to do your breast exams. We want you to do your mammograms. But we want also for those things to be negative, for nothing to show up. Those tests are secondary prevention. Primary prevention is doing what you have to do, make the appropriate choices, and that's a key word. Are you going to choose wellness or are you going to choose illness? Because very much of it is up to us. With those lifestyle changes, we have to be aware that we don't have to have 2 pieces of chocolate cake. I know we just went through Thanksgiving and Christmas, and I know what that marathon eating period is like. I say it to my patients all the time. So they want to do the detox diet the first of the year. Great, but keep it up. Don't just do the detox diet for a month and then go back to eating pork chops and mac and cheese and fried chicken. No, we don't have to eat that way anymore. We're no longer enslaved Africans. We are African American people that have a mission, that have a goal, that have a purpose, and we have to stay healthy to meet those demands, especially now.
Now, Dr.
And
Sullivan,
Simone, one of the,
can I just say she was on my pew with the pork chops and the mac and cheese, child. Y'all know I was on Instagram recently cooking up those pork chops. Ooh,
No, because pork chops, they increase your cortisol, and cortisol is an issue.
Okay.
You can't
Okay,
do
you're
it.
right. I gotta stop.
And
Dr.
you smoke.
Reggie, I want to hear from you, and let me let you respond to what Dr. Sullivan said, and then Dr. Q, I want to bring you in here because your story is a powerful one, and I for the folks that don't know it, I need them to hear it. But Dr. Reggie, chime in.
I was going to say what Dr. Sullivan was talking about is true healthcare. When we talk about healthcare system in America, it's really the sick care system, right? Because it's when you are sick is when you really get, quote, access to the care. You can't really get payment for cardiac rehab or going to a nutritionist sometimes. And the people that really need it most, like on Medicare and Medicaid, don't have access to those things, right? So when you look at true healthcare, that's what it's all about, primary prevention. And her area of specialty is not alternative medicine, it's actually integrative medicine. And so you have to integrate all of these things into one particular thing. And you've probably heard me say this in the past, TLC, total lifestyle change. It's really not one thing versus another. And it's no quick fix with an Ozempic or Wegovy or any GLP agonist. So it's a whole integrative process that if you're really looking to go for a healthcare system.
And I call it complementary. You know, we used to be called alternative doctors, but I changed that when I wrote my first book. I called it complementary. Integrative is fine, but I just don't want to lose the naturopathic aspect, because integrative doctors very often will say, oh, I'll just give you some vitamin C for the cold. But it takes more than vitamin C for the cold. What is the person doing at home? What are they eating? How are they behaving? What are their lives like? And these are all things that go back to the African culture, because that's what we did. We talked about those things when we were in Africa treating people and when we were enslaved Africans here in America. We wanted to know about the community and the tribe, what was going on in the situations they were in. It wasn't just about the condition, it was about the person. And naturopaths treat people, not just conditions.
I'm learning a lot. My notes look all over the place on this sheet of paper, but I have some order what's going on. Dr. Q, let me bring you in here because you had what I would argue is a life-changing experience in your late 30s, a series of life-changing experiences, actually. And you have now taken those experiences, you've pivoted, and you are really just educating the masses and making them laugh while you do it. Oh, you're muted, Dr. Q. You're still muted. You know, it's just like, remember during COVID, everybody, when all we were on the Zooms and we were just all on the Zooms together. They're gonna take you down, Dr. Q, and fix your audio, and then we'll bring you back up. But let's talk about this. Dr. Lightfoot, let me let you chime in here, because I feel as though that health has to be when we talk about a holistic approach and everything, I think that also means your care team has to speak to one another, or you have to be as the person receiving the care. kind of like an advocate for yourself. And I'm just wondering, we're talking about perimenopause, we're talking about heart disease, we're talking about integrative or complementary medicine, but how can we as the patient keep up with everything we got to keep up with? Like, do I have to say it to you and then come back and say it to Dr. Reggie and then come back to say it to, Dr. Sullivan, or when I'm reading her book, do I need to bring my notes into the doctor? Help us understand how we can bring this in together and what role the OBGYN plays. Oh, Dr. Q, are you with us?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hey, there we go.
Hold that. I'm coming back to you. All right, Dr. Q, you have the floor.
Yeah, so thank you all for just having me. And yes, my story is very unique. I am a 2-time stroke and heart attack thriver. Was misdiagnosed for about 8 years, and really had to change my life. I've lost 160 pounds, and was told that if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't be here. So I'm glad that I have surpassed the expiration date the doctors had given me. But yes, it is so important that we take care of ourselves, advocate for ourselves. I know doctor was talking about pork chops. I was just thinking, like, if there is a healthy way that I could eat chitlins, I don't know if there is, but I'm still trying to figure it out. I don't know if I need extra bell peppers or what, but yeah, it's really important. And what I want to emphasize is really just being a participant in your own rescue and being accountable. It is so much easier to prevent disease than to treat it. And for me, I was someone who was advocating for myself. I was advocating for myself until I pretty much got silenced and was told that it was everything else but what was really going on, and that I had an underlining heart condition. But even with that, now I know so much better, and I better, and I'm very conscious to what I put in my body and what I do with my body, and that's what I just emphasize to those who I know are struggling. And so I use humor to disarm, because sometimes the conversations can be heavy. But we need to know that we are expiring in large groups, and we know cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer of people. And so I am the lived experience. I'm not an expert. I'm a witness. But if people can see what I did and what I've been through and how I changed my life, I believe they can do it too.
That's the word right there. As Dr. Q was speaking, Dr. Lightfoot, it made me think about, as you were talking, and frankly, as you all were speaking, a question that I wrote down is, when do you know you need to see a doctor? I'm not outside of those catastrophic, right, things that happen to us. And I know all the links in the DMV are just randomly texting you, asking you random questions. I do it. I've done it. I'm like, do I need to go to the doctor? But seriously, outside of something catastrophic happening to us, like if my finger is bleeding, my hand is bleeding, like obviously we know we need to go to the doctor. You get in a car accident, but sometimes some of these things, we do brush it off as just general stress, or maybe I'm just tired. If I'm a little too sleepy for a week, do I need to go to the doctor? I work weird hours. So this is actually a personal question for me.
We all need to go to the doctor once a year.
Yes.
We all need to see a doctor once a year, because your doctor should know what is your normal baseline. What is your normal function when there is not something catastrophic happening, so that when something does happen, we can identify a change. And by having a relationship with a doctor, back in the day when the doctor used to come do house calls, your doctor knew you, knew your whole family, knew your family's history. It wasn't as diverse as it could be. So we had doctors who knew us very well, and we have different situations now, but it's important to have that relationship so that your doctor just knows what your baseline is, right? So that then when there's a problem and you're not quite sure, you can call Or now you could send a portal message and say, these are the things that are happening. I'm not sure if it's a problem, but I want to let you know. So sure, you're tired for a week. Okay, maybe you had a more stressful week. But are you tired for a year? Or are you tired for 6 months? Or has that changed the way that you've lived your life? Have you now made alterations in your own life because you looked it up on ChatGPT, you looked it up on Google, and you came up with your own solution as to what the problem is, but you haven't asked the doctor, why are these things happening? But you've already come up with a solution to why these things are happening. So that happens because we feel like we can fix it and we have access to a lot of information. But you should see a doctor once a year. You should have a relationship with a physician. And I recognize that it's not easy. Yeah. And sometimes people have to wait 6 months to get an appointment with their doctor. But at least if you make the appointment now, you know that you'll have an appointment come August, right? That you will have a regular appointment. And in the meantime, if a problem comes up, there's something called a problem visit. So you can have your annual, as Dr. Reggie said, healthcare, regular preventative healthcare should be healthy people, right? Not unhealthy care. So if you have a regular visit once a year, that's your regular. But if you have a problem, then you need to call and make an appointment because something's come up that has changed what your baseline is. And it's not just, oh, life. It's not just I'm older. It's not just I had a bad day. Something has changed so that you can no longer have the normal functions that you used to have before.
Now,
that you asked me earlier about, is it your responsibility as a patient to keep all the, I call them conductors of the orchestra together, right? Because we now have electronic medical records, we really do, we as physicians have access to a lot of information. But sometimes we don't necessarily know who the healthcare provider is that you actually interacted with. Is that your primary care doctor? Did you go to the emergency room? Why did they prescribe this? Or why did you start this medication? Or you can see that a doctor prescribed a medication, but you decided, you know what, I'm not taking that because I don't really have high blood pressure. I don't really need that medication, despite the fact that somebody might have given it to me. So
you're on somebody's cue right now.
Your primary care doctor would be the conductor of the orchestra, and then your specialists are the people that also participate in your care, because primary care doctors are overwhelmed and they can't do all of those things, but they do know about all of those different areas of our body that need care. And we do have access, but the most important thing is to know that your doctor, when you go see them, they don't know what happened to you last year when you went to the emergency room when you were in Iowa, right? Unless
an important thing that Dr. Lightfoot said, she doesn't want to be ordering your colonoscopy, right? There should be someone in the center that you trust. And because if you're going to see this person here and another person over there, they may not always communicate. So you might have duplication of things. You may not have communication between one specialist and another. And I have so many people that come and say, oh, no, I just go to my OB and have their order everything for me. And that's putting a lot of undue burden on the OB doctor. Order your thyroid profile, your diabetes levels, because they want to focus on certain things. So
Dr. Lightfoot is smiling because she is getting these orders.
That's right. That's why she said it.
Can I ask a question? And I'm looking down because my chat is over here. I'm in the Facebook chat. I'm seeing y'all. Shout out to Shanta, Whitaker, Tony for chiming in. We're seeing the questions. We're going to come to you all shortly. Now, folks in the chat, raise your hand if you have ever chat GPT'd, Clauded, Gemini'd, what is going on, and they give you a detailed answer, and you're like, I know this is what it is. I got it. And you may not go to the doctor then because you feel like chat has answered it for you, or you do go to the doctor and you feel like you go in very empowered. I have chat GPT'd my symptoms. Dr. Q also raised her hand. There are people in the chat raising their hand. Dr. Reggie, should I not be using ChatGPT? Should I not even just consult Claude and ask Claude what it thinks is going on?
Well, that shouldn't be your only source, right? I can give you an example of a whole family I saw today. The mother, the husband, and the daughter, the adult daughter, had classic symptoms of a stroke, FAST. She had face drooping. She had arm weakness. She had slurred speech. In the last part time, it's like, well, her speech got better, so let's wait until the morning and go and take her in. So she tried to go to church. She was clapping off beat. She couldn't get her rhythm together at church the next day, right? So ignored all the symptoms. So you really have to know your body and pay attention to your body, right? So that, that's why this forum is good and excellent for that. ChatGPT or in some of these AI programs, they're fine, but you can't get the human aspect of that, or you need someone to actually talk to you and see you. And so you can't always just rely on that by itself.
Dr. Q, I want to hear from you. And then Dr. Lightfoot, I'll bring you in. I will note the people in the chat are saying, somebody in the chat wrote, nope, chat will have you dead. Okay. Someone else said, I do not use Copilot or ChatGPT, but I do use Google. Well, baby, that summary at the top, it is AI. Go ahead, Dr. Q.
Right.
Yeah, so I wanted to say two things. So for the part about, I know you asked about being tired and once a year, but you really have to listen to your body. And I also look at it like a bottle of Tylenol. Tylenol says if these symptoms persist more than 7 days, you need to go to your doctor. So if you have a symptom that comes out of nowhere and it's consistent, I say take that serious, go to your doctor and do it immediately, because I was tired for 2 weeks. I was tired for 2 weeks while I was having my heart attack. And it was an extreme fatigue that did not subside with rest. But because I had been dismissed so much, I was having all these different symptoms. I was just like, oh, I'm coming down with the flu. But really, my body was setting an alarm. It was setting an alarm, and it was setting me up for what was going on. So I say that if there's any unusual symptoms, your body, don't gamble with it. And then secondly, as far as ChatGPT is concerned, I'm going to say ChatGPT and TikTok. Now, I don't say use it as a complete reference, but I will tell you that I was having a consistent pain in my left thigh. And it was just a pain that just kept coming and going and coming and going and going. And I'm like, I already wear my doctor to death as it is. So I was like, oh, let me see what this is. So I went to ChatGPT and it gave me a list of things. And it said something about my D-dimer. And so I wrote that down, and then I went on TikTok and I did the same thing. And a doctor came up and said, hey, this could be, related to your D-dimer. Well, I just went to my doctor and asked my doctor on my chart, could he look at my D-dimer? And he was like, well, that's real specific and interesting, but yeah, you can go down, I can order it, and you can go down to LabCorp and get your blood done, get your blood work. I got my labs done. My D-dimer was elevated. And it was just because I recognized that symptom was unusual. It was consistent. It came out of nowhere, but I still didn't just, take it for what it's worth. I still went to my doctor, still talked to my doctor to get some answers. And because of that, I was able to get on, on another medication. But I just will say the doctors may be, against that, but I will say, some things it can give you some output that at least if your doctor is not doing what he's supposed to do or answering your questions, maybe you can say, hey, doctor, can you look at this? And he can say, yay or nay. So, yeah.
Yay or nay.
So
Dr. Lightfoot, I want you to,
I was just going to say the D-dimer because she said
yeah, I'm about to ask, well, what is it?
Yeah, let me talk to you.
It's a blood test that
D-dimer is, right? Go ahead.
It's a blood test that can tell you whether you have clots. So if you already started complaining of leg pain, especially if you had some swelling, or if you had a long flight or been driving for a long distance, the first thing you think about is a clot in your leg that can break off and go to your lungs, called the DVT. So it's not just the D-dimer, it's the symptoms that should guide you in that direction and going to get checked out in an urgent care where they can do a Doppler of your leg to look for a blood clot.
Now, Dr. Lightfoot, can you chime in here? But I just want to note, someone responded. I'm getting a message from somebody that responded to your point about when the doctor used to come to the home. And someone noted that the doctor, a link that is watching, that the doctor that visited your home also saw your home environment, which can tell you a lot about your health.
That's right. That's right. Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, when you went to the doctor and you talked about the D-dimer, after you told them about your leg pain, did they order an ultrasound?
I did get an ultrasound, and I did get.
Was that before the D-dimer conversation or after?
No, that was. So I got my blood work first. So I got my blood work first, and then once I got my blood work,
Chat GPT said so.
Yeah. So I just did, I just asked. So I do a lot of things on my chart. And so I asked, and my doctor, because of my health history, he was just like, that's real specific. Sent me to LabCorp, went to LabCorp, said it was elevated. Then I went to get an ultrasound. And once that was cleared, then I was able to get on a new medication.
So I use that as an example. That really helped, right? That confirms what you're saying about, using Chat GPT. At the same time, as Reggie was saying, just to be a little clearer, is that if you came and said, I'm having calf pain, I'm having leg pain, I have this health history, your doctor should order Doppler ultrasound of your lower extremities, and then they may also order the D-dimer.
Yes.
I will admit, if somebody comes in and asks for a specific test and puts the doctor in a place, not you specifically, but puts the doctor in a place where, okay, well, we've already gotten to halfway down the road of a diagnosis and I didn't have an opportunity to explore other things, sometimes things get missed because it's like, nope, I think I should have this done. And we've gotten to a place where our society can be very litigious and you want to do exactly what the patients ask for because you don't want to miss anything, right? People always come in and say, well, can I go somewhere else and get my ultrasound? I want to make sure that everything's right. I don't want to necessarily follow the course of action that the doctor's recommended, but I definitely want to go get a full body CT scan. Well, the full body CT scan is going to show all kinds of things, and eventually we're going to not actually get to the problem at hand. And so it helped in this situation, but sometimes it can lead us down such a narrow path that we as physicians miss the bigger picture because there may be so many other things going on, especially if it's not your regular physician, right? Like if you're out of town visiting somewhere and somebody walks in and they're like, nope, Dr. Lightfoot, I want all these things done. And I try to stop and say, okay, but let's just talk about why first. Like, how did we get here? How did we get here? And I'm totally fine doing whatever it is that you feel like needs to be done. But let me understand what brought you to ask the question in the first place so that I don't miss anything else that's going on.
Well, see, for my case, there was no, listen, so before there was Chat GPT, there was just my voice. And it was just my chest is hurting. My head is hurting. I'm sweating at night. And the day before I had my stroke, I was told by my cardiologist that I was okay and was cleared for work. And I went to work the next morning, wasn't there 30 minutes and had a stroke and never went back to work. And that was 2019. So it's like, I love doctors who are thorough, like Dr. Lightfoot and Dr. Robinson, who do ask those questions. But for those of us who are advocating for ourselves and we are going to the doctor and we can't take a lie detector tests with us when we go, what is the best advice? It's serious. What's the best advice that you give a patient when something is going on with your body and you feel it and you're being dismissed? Right.
Well, first of all, you don't tolerate dismissal. That's number one. You don't even go back to that doctor. You find a new one immediately. You go to the ER, but you do not ever tolerate dismissal. That is not a choice. That's like, that's just not, it just doesn't happen. It shouldn't happen. And if it does, you say, thank you very much, I'm out. Because that's not acceptable. It's just not acceptable. I want to speak to the point that Dr. Lightfoot made about the physicians that used to come to your home. Yes, that can tell a lot about a person and what's going on, which is why I mentioned the thing about naturopathic doctors and how we look at the community. We treat people, not conditions. So I'm going to spend an hour to 2 hours on the first visit. Now,
what are you doing in these 2 hours, Dr. Sullivan?
We're talking about
a lot of time for me to set aside.
No, but I'm telling you what we're doing.
Pork chops and everything. So
we're talking about pork chops. We're talking about hog maws. We're talking about slavery. We're talking about a whole lot of things. And we're also talking about what's going on with you in your relationship. What's going on with you and your children? What's going on when you go to sleep at night? What's going on with your job? All of those things affect your health. And I've said, this is a sick care system for years. This is not a healthcare system. We are in a sick care system. And that sick care system fosters even more challenges, especially for Black women, because sexism and racism are real. And that's what my second book is about, The Sacrifices of Superwomen. That's what we've been confronted with for so many, many years. And now it's obvious how much it is creating havoc in our community. So we have to be advocates for ourselves. We have to stand up. We have to say, why are you prescribing that for me? What's in that? What are the side effects? It's not just okay just to read the little pamphlet in the box. You want to ask some questions. Now, I know Dr. Robinson and Dr. Lightfoot, you all do not have an hour to talk to people. I know that because you see so many people in the course of a day for so many reasons, but we're trained very differently. We're trained to spend the time. We're trained to listen. We're trained to sit down and figure out what is the cause of this situation. So my first question is, tell me what you were doing or what was happening in your life 5 years, 3 years, 1 year before this particular diagnosis came to your awareness. That's my first question. What was going on? Because I want to find the cause of the circumstances. Many times, I'm sure you all know this, we have so many women that have been abused in our community. And that's a huge component of health or lack thereof, because that then fosters low self-esteem. That then fosters poor eating habits, no exercise, no sense of self-love. And this is about self-love. That's what we're talking about.
We're also Black. And
yeah, I know, but I'm saying that doesn't mean
about the human condition. We want to spend the time. We want to spend the time to make sure that we get all that information and take
I'm
it.
sure you do. I'm sure you do. No, I said, I know that you want to spend the time, but I don't think it's possible for you all to spend the time because of the way you're trained and what you have to do versus the way we're trained. And what
we about to get a ward of doctors up in here. Hold on now, because we about to get a ward of doctors.
No.
All right, hold on.
Nobody having no war. Nobody having no war up in here. No, this is all love. This is all love.
We agree. We agree.
Can I?
Simone, I was going to say something about how you get into the patient's home. COVID did an interesting thing. We had to move to telehealth. So we saw people in their homes from the telehealth, and you could see the background. You could see the family members walking behind. You can see what the house looked like a lot of times. And that was an interesting dynamic that we never really got to see. And, many primary care doctors, they can't do house call. There are house call programs that are out there, but it doesn't make it feasible because they're baby boomers and, obesity is rampant in our community. So 60% of Americans are overweight and obese. So that leads to a lot of these comorbid conditions. They're not making a lot of doctors, right? So you have to figure out a way to get in to see them. And I was going to ask Dr. Q about some of your complications down the line and whether it started during pregnancy and led up to this, because there are some maternal fetal issues that lead to long-term outcomes like preeclampsia, like gestational diabetes, like placental insufficiency, where the mother and the baby can have complications down the line like strokes, heart attacks, congestive heart failure, pulmonary hypertension that you won't see until you're older, right? So you're delivering a baby with placental insufficiency, meaning that the placenta is not getting blood flow to the baby. And that affects not only the baby with growth retardation, but it's also affecting the mother. And long-term, it's going to affect the mother and the baby as it goes along, including preeclampsia and hypertension. So I just wanted to, I think your story is important to be able to put these things together from maternal fetal up until now and how we really are looking at ladies first.
Yeah, so absolutely. So I did have, when I had my first daughter in 1998, I did have some hypertension during that pregnancy. I had a natural birth, but didn't have any complications from that. However, in 1998, when I had my son, I did have IUGR, intrauterine growth retardation. But I was never told, that I would be at risk. It just happened. I just happened to be talking to a doctor recently about having IUGR, and she was like, that is a precursor. That should have been an indicator from your doctor that you were going to have some issues down the line. Now, I also do have ASCVD as well, but
Can you explain that?
Now,
right
what's
quick?
that? What? I got my papers in the acronym.
Explain that to people.
it's atherosclerosis. So basically, it relates to my cholesterol. So as plaque builds up on my artery, causes clots, which what caused my both of my strokes, both of my TIA and my ischemic stroke. So so I did have pregnancy related issues that I was not aware and didn't and wasn't able to be able to articulate that to my doctor. So when I was going to the cardiologist, that wasn't anything that I was asked. And I will also specify this too. I think it's really important to know your family history when you are talking to your cardiologist, you're talking to your physician, because during the time I was having my palpitations and they diagnosed me with exercise-induced arrhythmia. That was my first diagnosis because I was on the treadmill running and I started feeling palpitations. And that's basically when your blood pressure starts to raise, starts to elevate, then it causes your blood pressure to rise as well. And when the doctors were asking me about my family history, you would have thought I was Superwoman. I was like, no, nobody has this, nobody has that. I'm perfectly fine, you know. And I wasn't, and it wasn't until I was in the hospital with my heart attack and the vascular doctor and the pulmonologist was asking me questions, and my mother was sitting there and they were like, is there a history of cardiovascular disease or heart attack? And then I find my mom has had a mini stroke and my mom has had a mild heart attack, and 3 of my uncles had died of massive heart attacks, and my grandmother had a heart attack. So I think all that information would have been pertinent when talking to my doctor, because maybe he said, okay, well, there's a risk here, there's a high risk, so maybe we can put you on some medication, maybe we can do an angiogram now rather than me getting an angiogram 8 years later, a couple of weeks before I had my heart attack and stroke.
The family history piece is very, very, very important and critical. I was at my well woman's exam the other day and I asked for a mammogram and she said, well, is there a reason? I said, yes, I have a family history. So you must know your history. Yeah. Okay, I am getting a ping from Madam Co-Chair Laverne. It is time for another prize giveaway. And then I have some questions from the audience. And I also have some questions of my own. So first, virtual drum roll, second grand prize giveaway. Our winner is, congratulations to Giselle Whitfield of Maryland. You are the winner of grand prize number 2. What did you win? A 2-week class pass at Sankofa Yoga Center in Laurel, Maryland. Oh, you got Michelle Obama's newest book, The Look. It's amazing. A signature Glow Bright facial plus facial kits, a 4-day, 3-night stay at Bethany Beach, and a $100 gift card. Again, see, this is why I tell y'all to stay logged in. This is why you RSVP, folks. And this is definitely why you drop those questions when we tell you to in the chat, because that's how you can end up winning a prize. Okay. Oh, the chat is now getting very active. Okay, let me just go to some questions that we've gotten. This first question, I saw it early and I wrote it down because I'm like, yeah, why is this still the case? This question comes from Latasha Hurd Madden, and her question says, why is heart disease still the leading cause of death in women? And what misconceptions continue to put women at risk? Such an excellent question. Dr. Reggie?
So when Dr. Q mentioned ASCVD, I'll answer that in a second. Atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease. There's an actual app that you can do to plug in all your numbers, your blood pressure, your cholesterol, your lipid values, and it gives you a risk so that you can go in and talk to your primary doctor. So they'll look at your LDL and say, oh, you need to start on a statin. And you say, well, my ASCVD risk score is less than 5%. Why should I? Versus it being over 20%, then you know you need to be more aggressive. Talk about coronary calcium scores. If you have a family history, which means first-degree female relatives with a heart attack before the age of 60 or 65, first-degree male relative with a heart attack or a stroke before the age of 55, those are big risk factors. looking at coronary calcium scores, which cost like $100, where you get a CAT scan of the heart to look for early plaque, and an LP(a), which is a marker of risk that's you check once. And back to my sister Latasha, you know, it's been the leading cause of death since the last pandemic back in 1918, the Black Plague, the influenza outbreak. Why is that? It's not because of what physicians are doing. That's the peak of the iceberg. When you look at heart attack, things like that, the way we eat and live, you think about health equity and social determinants of health, right? We're still talking about that 100 years later. We've made progress, but when you start talking about social determinants of health, health equity, that's really the reason. We don't have enough politicians involved in it. We don't have enough ministers involved with it. We don't have enough policing. It's when you talk about health equity, it's where you eat, live, pray, breathe. Those are all the things that impact cardiovascular disease. So that's why it's still the #1 cause of death in this country.
We also don't have enough.
Around the world, actually.
We also don't have enough African-American doctors, thanks to the Flexner report and the closing of hospitals that, you know, supported African-American doctors. The only 2 hospitals we had before was Meharry and Howard. The rest of them closed. And just the racial, systemic racism has kept that, you know, at a minimal. So we don't have enough people to talk to. People want to talk to people that look like them.
It's so true.
And I know she specifically mentioned women, and Dr. Robinson and Lightfoot and Sullivan, you can chime in, but I know that women don't have the atypical symptoms as men, and so I know for me, you know, I was expecting, you know, a huge collapse of, you know, what you see on TV, a man, you know, screaming and hollering, and my symptoms were nothing like that. You know, they were very mild. My chest pain was very light. And so just really understanding what the signs of a heart attack are when it comes to women, because I know so many women that reach out to me and say, well, you know, it was just that I was tired. And, you know, I decided to go to the hospital and I found out that I was having a heart attack. So, you know, I agree with everything, but I know she specifically mentioned women, and I know that our symptoms are so much different. And I think that's what delayed me going to the hospital. Within those 2 weeks, I was having my heart attack.
Yeah,
I want to take
those are
another.
all true. That was all true, and that the leading cause, I mean, are some of those things I just mentioned. But when we talk about acknowledgement and understanding, yes, women, in particular women that are diabetic, the symptoms, you just know your body. If it's something different, certainly go get it checked out. If you're more winded than usual, you used to walk down the street or go up and down stairs, and now you can't do that. That could be your symptom. I had patients who just had right elbow pain every time they exercise. I mean, so it's not always the classic someone sitting on your chest, going up your jaw, going down your elbow. Anyone can probably pick that out, right? But again, you're right about the actual acknowledgement of the symptoms.
I want to take another question. This question comes from Eugenia Gardner. She was watching from Facebook. Seriously, literally, it says seriously. What can we do to combat the exhaustion that accompanies menopause? I have a healthy BMI. I exercise. I maintain a plant-based diet. I'm tired, too tired. Okay, who wants to chime in first? Dr. Sullivan, Dr. Lightfoot, Dr.
I'll speak to that. I mean, maybe you don't need to have a plant-based diet. I mean, I know that sounds very strange coming from a naturopath, but
Clock it, Dr. Sullivan, clock it.
Not everybody needs to be vegetarian. Not everybody needs to just eat peas and carrots. That's not what we're doing. I was vegetarian for 8 years when I was 22, and I was tired all the time for 8 of those years until I was 28, and I decided I need to go to a naturopath. That's how I got into naturopathy. I went to a naturopath before it was even heard of, and nobody knew what a naturopath was. And he said to me, you need to have some animal protein. And so I started to have a little bit, just some lean protein. I don't eat a lot of it. And maybe 4 days a week, I am vegetarian, but the other days I have some animal protein. So I don't know who you are or your circumstances, but it may be that you need to eat fish occasionally. You need to eat some salmon, some omega-3s, some sardines, some sable cod or something. But you may not need to just be eating those carrots, girl.
To the doctors, can I just say there's been a movement. I think that one of the things that social media has done, some of these movements pop off, and I'm going to ask about the GLP-1s and the Oura rings in a little bit. But one of these movements is this vegan, vegetarian situation, or just plant-based. You know, a lot of the trends and that they work for people. Some people it does work for them.
Absolutely.
But talk to us about
But
maybe you need to be.
and let me
I like
say
your
this.
idea about vegan 4 days and one day you eat a little animal.
Yeah, and I have to say this: plant-based means a lot of things. If you read the wrappers of some plant-based products, you would eat the cellophane and not what's in the product. You have to read the labels. You've got bisphenols in those plastics that they come in, and they create products, havoc with your endocrine system. I mean, you've got to be intelligent and look at what you're putting in your body. Generally speaking, if you can't pronounce it, and if it has red dye number 4 or red dye number 6, you shouldn't be eating it. You should not be eating it.
Dr. Sullivan is pulling my card. Dr. Lightfoot, please.
We don't do that. We don't do that. We just eat it anyway.
I don't know the.
And you don't drink enough water. Go ahead.
I got my Stanley cup.
If you are a woman under 60 and within 10 years of menopause, and you have, as you said, your healthy BMI and you exercise and do all the things, and you're not taking hormone replacement therapy, transdermal estrogen and progesterone, if you have a uterus, will help that fatigue. And if for the right patient, given the right situation, hormone replacement therapy will help some of those symptoms, and the fatigue will be a whole lot better. And any other symptoms that go along with menopause, brain fog, the brain fog will get so much better so quickly. It's absolutely outstanding how quickly the brain fog will get better, and your sleep will be so much better. And if you are sleeping well throughout the night, then your daytime functioning will be that much better. It's really important that we all get good sleep for obesity, for your heart, for your functioning. Everybody needs to get a good night's sleep, good night's rest. And we're not getting that when we're going through menopause and not getting taken care of, not getting treated.
Can I just know, there's another question from YouTube, literally about HRT, hormone replacement therapy. How did you know? You're a good doctor. Yes, from YouTube. People are watching on YouTube. Yes, y'all are everywhere. We are very engaged.
Got it.
Okay, this is from Tori B. Now. She's coming to us from YouTube. Will starting HRT, hormone replacement therapy, help the zero estrogen levels and lower the sudden increase of cholesterol? Will it?
So hormone therapy is to treat the symptoms of menopause. We don't use hormone therapy to treat cardiovascular disease, right? But we use hormone therapy to treat the symptoms of menopause. When we start going through menopause, our LDL increases, our visceral fat increases, our central, what we call adiposity, the adipose tissue, the fat tissue around your central region increases. Your blood pressure may increase. I'll let Dr. Robinson explain to you why. And insulin resistance occurs and sleep disruption occurs. So the hormone therapy that you take, which is going to be estradiol, is going to treat those symptoms, and those zero levels will no longer be zero levels, and your body that has receptors for estrogen, not just in your reproductive organs, but in your brain, in your heart, in your pancreas, and lots of other places, will then start functioning better than they were without them.
Dr. Q, chime in, and then we have another question.
Yes, and Dr. Sullivan and Dr. Robinson, you can probably speak on this, as well as Dr. Lightfoot. For those, because I'm at the stroke conference right now, I'm at ICS, and one of the things that they were talking about is us, us women who are going through perimenopause, who have had cardiovascular incidents, and how HRT is not recommended. So what do you recommend for women who cannot have HRT, who are absolutely suffering outside of, the night sweats. I know there are some non-hormonal drugs out there for night sweats and hot flashes, but specifically, brain fog and the other things that have become debilitating for us patients.
I can talk about some of the reasons why we stopped using it for cardiovascular benefit, because it can actually increase risks of clots and increase risk of heart attacks and strokes. So I'll let Dr. Sullivan, Dr. Lightfoot talk about some of the alternatives that may be beneficial, the types of estrogens or the types of hormones that may be beneficial.
Well, in my practice, I am very clear that people come with a lot of other things that can create these problems. So diet is one of the first, homeopathy is one of the first things I do. Diet is one of the second things I do, because diet is important. And I find that when I've changed people's diets and add some herbs, then very seldom do they need to go any further. If they do, I would do some bioidentical hormones. I don't, because that's not in my license in Maryland, but it is in the license in DC, which is much more reasonable, if you will, and less aggressive than regular hormones. But combining that with dietary changes, exercise, and water, all of which are in the book that you all just gave away, those things really do work. That's my experience. And we don't do that. One of the questions I ask, and I always say not enough, my patients always say not enough. How much water do you drink? Not enough. How much sleep do you get? Not enough. We can't go around not sleeping, not drinking water, and not eating vegetables. It just doesn't work. We understand that the body is a miraculous machine, and it has an innate and inherent ability to heal itself if given the proper support. But we don't give it the proper support. We just don't. We say, yeah, I get 8 hours sleep. I go to bed at 1 and I get up at 9. No, that's not what I'm talking about. Or I drink water, but I only drink maybe a glass in the morning. No, that's not what I'm talking about. We don't exercise. Exercise is the best free drug there is. The best free drug there is. It's 10 minutes. We don't have to run a marathon. You don't have to train for a marathon. 10 minutes. This is a simple thing to do, because small things done consistently make a difference. So 10 minutes, 3 times a week even. That's where I start people. That's all. I want to just walk 10 minutes, do some running on a treadmill or bike 10 minutes. Nothing more than that. If you can do more, do more. And you need to do a little weightlifting, just something mild, so that you can strengthen your muscles, your bones, as you move into getting older. So these are simple things that don't take a lot of time. You don't have to take a lot of time, but you have to choose to do it. This is a choice, just like thinking good thoughts, loving yourself, loving others. All those things are choices that we have to make in order to have a healthy lifestyle.
One of the key takeaways I'm getting from this is I got to choose to stop with these pork chops. It is.
You do. You definitely do.
It's a struggle.
You do. You have to choose to stop.
I got to choose. You have radicalized me in this moment, Dr. Sullivan.
Good. Well, I'm glad to be here.
Drinking my water. Okay, I have another question from Facebook. This question comes from Nancy Gaskins. This is for you, Dr. Robinson. Any supplements to take or avoid taking for heart health?
Well, there are a ton of supplements. And first and foremost, when you start looking at supplements, make sure you get it from somewhere reputable, because you have to make sure that you have whatever's in there, but you don't have a whole bunch of extra fillers in there.
Exactly.
So some of the data that we look at when you talk about cholesterol health or your triglyceride, omega-3 is a good one. And when you look at fish oils, not all fish oils are the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you look at a tablet of fish oil, it says 1,200 milligrams, and it may be 1,200 milligrams of stuff and maybe 30 milligrams of DHA and EPA and the actual active ingredients. So generally you need 1,000 or 2,000 milligrams of the active ingredient. So you turn the bottle around and actually look and see what's concentrated. You might need to take like 10 tablets to get that versus some that are more concentrated where you may need to take 3 tablets. And triglycerides, the fatty cholesterol, you can treat those by omega-3, as well as flaxseed. Flaxseed is a plant-based omega-3. Some of the oldest blood thinners are anticoagulants, ginger, ginseng, ginkgo. So
Turmeric.
anything you put in your body, you're expecting a biologic response. So you should know everything that you're taking. Whoever's giving you something, they should also know what else you're taking, because there can be interactive. If I have someone on Coumadin or warfarin and I'm giving them turmeric or CoQ10 or ginseng, you're wondering why their blood thinning is thinning too much. So you need to know all of those things, right?
Mhm.
So there are a bunch of things. Red yeast rice, that's where the statins came from. If you don't know what you're doing and taking just any red yeast rice off the shelf, you can have high amounts of monocolons and get that same liver failure or myopathy or muscle breakdown that you can from a statin. So that's where the statins came from, red yeast rice. So anytime you're getting something, you have to make sure it's coming from somewhere reputable. If it's someone telling you we're the only one that makes this, then you're always a suspect. You just have to do your research. Again, anything you put in your mouth, you're expecting a biologic response. So whether you're thinking that it's always going to be good, you always can have something that's negative from it as well.
Dr. Lightfoot, the next question is actually for you. So you can.
Just to piggyback on what Dr. Robinson said, we don't know what's in all the supplements. It's not measured, it's not regulated. It may have great marketing. It may really sell to everybody on your street.
So even the CoQ10 commercials?
But there are different types of CoQ10.
And this really works. Everybody in your friend group may say, this made a change in my life. And that may be great, but we don't know what's in them. It's not regulated. They're not FDA regulated. They don't have to report to anyone. So that information is not available. And just be sure to tell your doctor what you're taking, because we don't know what you're taking. And to Dr. Robinson's point, when things don't work out, and then later on you're like, oh, I forgot to mention that I'm taking this one medication that's going to stop all the other medications that you've been giving me to fix the problem.
Yeah. It is critical. It is critical. Okay, this next question comes from Facebook. It is from Sharmita C. Scott. And this is for you, Dr. Lightfoot. Why would a woman lose hearing in one ear during or after pregnancy? Can I just say pregnancy seems insane, because the people's feet are growing, nose growing, losing hearing. You talking about I can have a stroke because something's going on with my placenta as an embryo. This is stressful.
I went from a 9 to 11.
Come on now, that's crazy.
Pregnancy is the biggest stress test a woman's body is going to go through in her entire life. So it is a cardiovascular stress test. And if we fail the stress test, fail not because we weren't prepared, but if something happens, you have a complication, a cardiovascular complication, then that's an indication of what's going to happen later on. Then there are long-term risks after having those complications. But to answer that question, sometimes people's hearing does change during pregnancy. I'm not sure in this situation with this particular question whether or not we're talking about a loss of hearing forever. So that I cannot answer. But I can say people do have hearing changes in one ear during pregnancy. A lot of that, sometimes their sinuses, they change, your sinuses change during pregnancy, and things sound very muffled. You don't hear as well. You feel like you have a cold, that kind of sound like you have a cold. And that does resolve after pregnancy. But losing your hearing completely, I don't have an explanation for that, because everybody has unique circumstances and there's so many other factors that may be a part of that.
Someone in the chat literally wrote, as you were explaining this, suddenly I don't want children. We want y'all to bring children to the world, but yes, it is indeed. Can I ask a question?
That person wouldn't be here then.
Can I ask one? I want to say one thing. I did see that somebody wrote in the chat, and I think it's a great question. Will drinking lots of water postpartum make your hypertension worse? No, but you will have more swelling. So after the 14 days after you deliver, during your postpartum period, which is about the 6 to 12 weeks after delivery, you will notice more swelling. And then that swelling starts to go away because your body will what we call diurese. All of that fluid will start to shift. But you're drinking the water to push the water out so that it's almost like your body is dehydrated and it needs more. So it's holding on to water because it doesn't have enough. and you're drinking water to keep moving things forward, and you will eventually diurese. But if postpartum your hypertension gets worse, or your vision changes, or you get a headache, your headache's not going away, call your doctor, go see somebody and get that evaluated, because that's a risk factor for preeclampsia, or that is preeclampsia, and that can then lead to eclampsia. So something should be done. Don't take that lightly.
And if you're holding on to a lot of fluid during your peripartum stage, where you're doing pregnancy or directly after, and you're swelling a lot more than usual, or you're more winded, you can't lay down flat, you can have something called postpartum cardiomyopathy. It's a heart failure syndrome where your heart function has decreased. Normal function of the heart is 55 to 60%. With postpartum cardiomyopathy, we see it a lot in African-American women that have had eclampsia, preeclampsia with hypertension, which is actually the leading cause of congestive heart failure in our folks, because that blood pressure just beats up on the heart, and they have congestive heart failure. And one of the tests you get for that is an echocardiogram, an ultrasound, to actually look at the heart structure itself. So, and it's a like Dr. Lightfoot said, pregnancy is a stress test. So there's a lot of flow going in and out from the mother to the baby to help that two organisms survive at once. And, it can be a lot of stress on the mother as she's delivering and right after delivery. So it's a huge deal that we have to look at. And in the African-American population, we have one of the highest maternal fetal complications in the world.
It is real. This is why I love this panel. Red Dress always gets real. Okay, I have two more questions. Well, really, I'll wrap it up into one, and I want everybody to give their, we'll do a round robin final thoughts from folks on this. But I will say this, there has been obviously a boon of these weight loss drugs, these GLP-1s. Things are happening to make them more accessible, more affordable. And the people are on the wagon. So I want us to make sure we hit and talk about the GLP-1s. Sometimes there are people getting them not from their doctor, right? There's all these sites that have popped up, the AstraZenecas, the Ro.co, the you name it. You can get you a vial delivered, child. There's compounded. So just talk to us about the importance of not siloing off your care to the internet, even when it's Ro.co. And then secondly, what are some things that we can, are some of these devices that we can use to help us? Dr. Reggie, you mentioned the app earlier. There's things like Whoops, right? Oura rings. There are some people that might still have a Fitbit. Are these things people should be purchasing? Should they look into them? I know folks that have said the Oura ring told her it was draining her body, and what was draining her body was a dang on baby because the girl was pregnant. So the Oura ring told her before she knew. So I think some of these things as we wrap up and give our final comments will be helpful for folks to hear.
There's not a one size fit all. So I'd like to say that first and foremost. I have an Apple Watch. I'm not promoting Apple Watch, but there are a lot of my patients that have atrial fibrillation or arrhythmias or fast heartbeat. There on some of the other watches as well, that if you're having these palpitations, you can actually capture it in an EKG form and send it to me so I can actually see what it is. So if you come to see me and say I'm having palpitations and they occur once a week, me putting a monitor on you for a week is not going to do anything, because as soon as you take the monitor off, you're going to have the palpitations the next week. But more than likely, you'll have your watch on so that you can actually capture it. Or you've seen these commercials for Cardio Mobile. That's sort of a misleading ad saying it'll help your cardiovascular. It won't stop anything. It's really just to see if you have any palpitations, and you put your finger on something to capture a rhythm. So it's sort of a misleading ad, but it can help capture someone who's having a stroke that you don't know why, because we know atrial fibrillation is the leading cause of having a stroke. This irregular heartbeat that comes from the top of the heart, and you get clots in the top that break off. And that treatment for that is quite different from a plaque breaking off or you having high blood pressure. So it's good to be able to diagnose it. So I do use it in that sense. But I'm not, I don't prescribe, say, the Oura ring or anything like that, but because it's individualized.
Mm-hmm.
And we go back to the GLP agonist. They're, again, not one size fits all, right? There are some people that have come to the, 2 out of 3 Americans are overweight or obese. And we know that obesity, when we look at obesity, we look at that as just one chronic condition. But off of that obesity, we have sleep apnea, which could cause arrhythmias, heart attacks, high blood pressure. We have metabolic syndrome, which could cause diabetes, the leading cause of amputation, stroke, kidney failure. Then we have certain cancers that come off with obesity. Then we have this whole inflammatory process. So there are people that have been broken down from their obesity. They're not going to get on a treadmill. I mean, you have to meet people where they are, of course. And we can beat people into the ground saying, you need to eat this way, you need to eat that way. But if someone's already had broken down knees, how are they going to go to the gym? Their back's gone because now it's bone on bone. So they need some relief. So there are specialized people that you would look at to really dial that down to, someone that's maybe 20 pounds overweight, asking me for a GLP agonist, like, get on the treadmill, change your diet. Let's talk about some of the other ways that you can do it naturally versus getting a pin. There is no easy way, no simple way to really do that.
Thank you. Dr. Reginald Robinson, we always appreciate you. Dr. Sullivan, let's hear from you next. Your response and also your final thoughts.
We've lost our relationship to food, really. We don't, what we call food is not food. What that means is the definition of food is to allow us to grow and be supportive of our health and well-being. The food that we eat doesn't do that. And that starts with big pharma, of course, and then it goes to farming. All of those things are in line with the fact that we have this sick care system. So we have to take responsibility for our health. I agree that somebody who may have bad knees may not want to go to the gym, but there are exercises that you can do in the chair. In a chair, it works. And there are exercises that you can do in other ways that work, but you have to be willing to do those things in order to choose to be better. The GLP is just one more way to not be responsible for your health. It's like, okay, eat the pork chop, then I'm gonna give myself a shot. That's right. So that is not the way to get healthy. It's just not. And again, these conditions are not exotic conditions. They are lifestyle issues. And just like Dr. Q said, she lost 160 pounds or whatever she said, 140 pounds. She did it because she knew if she didn't, she was going to not be here.
With the GLP-1. Oh,
well, okay, that's fine. But you also changed your diet, I bet you.
I did.
Okay, all right. And in order to keep it off, are you still taking the GLP-1?
I have not been on GLP-1 since February of 2025.
Great. So what I'm saying is you have to eat differently still, even though you have the GLP-1, you still have to eat differently. You still have to make different choices. So I just am a proponent of that. I want to go back to one point when they were talking, when Dr. Lightfoot and Dr. Robinson were talking about a centralized person and someone who can coordinate the other specialists. Naturopaths are trained to be primary care physicians. So when you find a naturopath, you find somebody who can do all of that, who can do lab work, who can send you to a specialist, who can do what you need to have done in order to get your healthcare going. The other thing is the vitamins we use in naturopathy are formulated by naturopaths, and they are reliable, and they are not something that you just toss into a pot and boil it up and and drink it down. No, there are formulas that are used. There are certifications that the labs have to use in order to make the vitamins. Vitamins, though, are man-made. Keep that in mind. They're not natural, and they are supplements to a good diet, hopefully. Herbs are certainly from the ground and are natural. And I want to say that if you're using an herb for anything and you're using it for a particular reason and it's not working and you're taking it for longer than 2 months or 1 month, you need to stop and see somebody. You don't want to just take herbs for just take an herb and think that it's going to work. If it's not working, stop it and do something differently.
Dr. Sullivan, thank you so much for your insights this evening. Dr. Q, let's hear from you. I mean, your story is just so powerful. This has been such an engaging conversation. Your response and final comments.
Yeah, you have to participate in your own rescue.
Right.
You know, I was 312 pounds. I had just had my second stroke, heart attack, and really struggling. And doctors had basically told me that if I hadn't lost the weight, if I don't make the change, that my next visit was going to be with Abbott Mortuary, and I did not want that. And so, like Dr. Sullivan said and Dr. Robinson said, I couldn't exercise. I was in therapy. I was doing all the things, and just needed a way out, right? But with that, I use GLP-1 as a tool. I use it as a tool to change my life, to make sure I could eat right and do right. And so what I tell people is that you have to take accountability for your health. You have to eat right. You have to exercise. And there's really no excuses, because sometimes you don't get a second chance. You don't get a second, third chance like I did. So just make sure that you listen to your body. You advocate for yourself. You don't allow doctors to gaslight you. If it don't feel right, I say it ain't right. Take care of you. You cannot enjoy the blessings in life if you are not in shape or you're not here to do it. And we have a responsibility for our family. You know, your family operates much better. Your job operates much better. Life operates much better when you are in shape and you are physically able to do so. So take care of you. That's all you got. Them no good children and no good husband, put them to the side and take care of you.
Thank you, Dr. Q. We have Dr. Lightfoot, who we will hear from our last panelist, and then I'm gonna give out a prize. Dr. Lightfoot.
I'm going to reiterate what Dr. Q said. Put yourself first. I always tell my patients, we take care of our mothers, our fathers, our sisters, our brothers, our friends, our cousins, our families. You always go to the woman in your household first when there's a problem. We are the CEOs of our household, of our communities. But if we don't take care of ourselves first, then we can't take care of everybody else. So we can stop now ignoring our problems and making them something else. Identify what they are. Take that quiet time. Take your space. Take your moment with your doctor. So if you have to write it out, make a list. I tell patients, put it in your notes section of your phone. The things that are going through your head and you're wondering, are these problems? Just write them down. We'll figure out what they are. That's our responsibility as doctors, to make a relationship comfortable enough where you feel comfortable to share what's going on with you in the most intimate spaces of your life, so that we can help your life be better and the quality of your life be better. So take the time to take care of yourself first, so that you can take care of everybody else, because we're still going to be taking care of the whole community, and we're still going to be saving the country, and we're still going to be saving everybody else, because we know we fix everybody else's problems. So we're still going to be doing that, but just make sure put yourselves first, right? We're going to put up a QR code, and that QR code is a link to the American Health Association's Life Essential 8. And those are 8 things that women can do, and you can add that, make that a bookmark in your phone. To eat better, to be more active, we need 150 minutes of exercise each week. Quit tobacco, get healthy sleep, do whatever you can to get healthy sleep, manage your weight, control your cholesterol, manage your blood sugar, and manage your blood pressure. It's really important that we manage our blood sugar. It's going to save your life. And know your numbers. Don't walk out of your doctor's office and not know what your blood pressure is. And it's not because you drank coffee, and it's not because you were running late.
Dr. Lightfoot, thank you for that valuable information. Give it up to our panel. I see y'all in the chat. The chat is saying amen. Great panel, very informative. Thank you all very much. Amen, amen. I echo that. You all really brought it this year.
No pork chops.
No
pork chops. No pork chops. I am the pork chop police. I'm coming to your house.
It's a thing. I'm gonna tell y'all right now. I'm on the chat. I'm here. I'm giving up the pork chops. Okay. I'm giving up the pork chops. Let my husband know, y'all. I'm gonna tell him that I'm off of it. He doesn't eat them. It's just me.
Okay.
Thank you to this amazing panel for your insights. This is what Red Dress is all about. Make sure you all consult these notes, okay, that our panelists gave you, because invaluable. Before we leave, a lot has happened. I want to give away 2 more prizes. We have grand prize number 3, and there has been someone lighting up our chat here, asking questions, really engaging. So our next winner is Marilyn Miner. She's really been lighting up that chat. So congratulations. This is grand prize winner number 3. And we've got 2 resume reviews / career coaching by the Maltz by Way, golf for 2 at Army Navy Country Club with lunch. That lunch is very important. A Cultura package, Lee's flower certificate, my favorite flowers, and a $100 gift card. So shout out to Marilyn Miner on that prize. And lastly, are y'all ready for the mega grand prize?
Yes.
Do you want to know what's in it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Our mega grand prize. Okay. This one goes to the guest that had the most people to RSVP. It includes VIP tickets to see our girl Sherry. We love Sherry. Her show is moving, but it ain't over. Drum roll, please. The person in the community who registered the most guests for Red Dress is Penny Pops of Northern Virginia. Penny got 77 RSVPs. Okay, Penny, you are in fact popping, girl. The VIP tickets, Washington Commanders tickets, shout out to Penny Pops. We love her. Thank you to our panel. We will let you all go. Thank you all out there in the chat for showing up, not just for us, but really for yourselves. That's what was happening here. Big shout out to our sponsors. Can we put the sponsors on the screen again? Because sponsors are very important. They are helpful. They make this thing happen. Thank you all for choosing information, community, and care. Remember, ladies first means we don't keep putting ourselves last. Let's be real about putting our health and our hearts front and center. Thank you to our sponsors. And I will just end with this. This is such a trying time in the world and in our communities. And I know it's a lot. We are all stressed out. It's too much. But we can still find time to, 1, find moments of joy, and 2, take care of ourselves. And so we need to make that commitment, because the world is crazy. That don't mean we got to look it. And that doesn't mean we have to feel how the world is looking. We have to do our part for ourselves. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, everyone. And that's it for me. We're out.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Good to be with you.